Before people hear your story, they experience your energy. Before they see your achievements, they study your attitude. Before they trust your ability, they observe your character. Most people spend years chasing skills while ignoring the one thing that introduces them to every room long before results arrive: personality. The truth is that opportunities are rarely opened by talent alone. Human beings respond emotionally before they respond logically. They remember how someone made them feel long before they remember titles, awards, or financial status. A person can walk into a room with no money, no influence, and no visible success, yet still command attention because confidence, calmness, emotional control, and authenticity create a presence people cannot ignore. Research from Princeton University revealed that people form first impressions within seconds of meeting someone, and those impressions heavily influence future trust, cooperation, and connection. That means personality becomes the invisible language speaking on your behalf before you ever explain yourself. In workplaces, friendships, leadership positions, and business opportunities, people unconsciously decide whether they feel safe, inspired, respected, or valued around you almost instantly. This is why two people with similar intelligence can experience completely different outcomes in life. One creates connection, while the other creates distance. One inspires trust, while the other creates tension. Personality shapes perception, and perception shapes opportunity. Many people believe success creates confidence, but life repeatedly proves the opposite. Confidence often creates the conditions where success becomes possible. Studies in behavioral psychology continue showing that individuals with higher emotional intelligence consistently build stronger relationships, experience better leadership outcomes, and create greater long-term influence. Emotional intelligence is not about being perfect or instantly positive. It is the ability to remain aware of emotions without being controlled by them. It is the ability to listen without defensiveness, communicate without arrogance, and remain composed under pressure. Those qualities create a magnetic personality because people naturally move towards stability and certainty in uncertain environments. Think about the people who changed your life the most. Rarely was it because of their possessions. Usually it was because of how they treated others, how they listened, how they encouraged growth, or how they remained calm during difficult moments. Presence creates memory. Character creates impact. Personality leaves fingerprints on every interaction. A person who makes others feel respected becomes unforgettable because respect is rare in a world obsessed with self-promotion. Genuine curiosity, emotional discipline, patience, and authenticity have become uncommon strengths, which is why they carry extraordinary power today. Modern culture often teaches people to build an image instead of building substance. Many become obsessed with appearing successful rather than becoming valuable. But eventually, image collapses under pressure while character remains. Difficult seasons expose personality more than comfortable seasons ever can. Stress reveals emotional maturity. Delays reveal patience. Criticism reveals self-control. Failure reveals humility. When pressure enters life, personality becomes impossible to fake. This is why true growth is internal before it becomes external. The strongest personalities are not created through comfort. They are built through rejection, disappointment, setbacks, and silent seasons where discipline matters more than recognition. A powerful personality is not about becoming louder. It is about becoming more grounded. It is the ability to stay calm when others panic. It is the ability to stay respectful when others become emotional. It is the ability to bring certainty into uncertain environments. Leaders who transform teams and inspire movements are rarely remembered because they were the smartest people in every room. They are remembered because their presence gave others belief. Their attitude created safety. Their character created trust. Their personality created momentum. The world is filled with talented people who remain unseen because they never learned how to connect. At the same time, there are ordinary individuals creating extraordinary influence because people feel energized, understood, and inspired around them. Skills may open a conversation, but personality determines whether the relationship continues. Your attitude during hard moments, your consistency when nobody is watching, your ability to encourage instead of complain, and your willingness to remain authentic in a world full of performance all shape the identity people remember. Long before success introduces your name to the world, you're personal. Sonality already announces who you are becoming in a world obsessed with titles, certifications, followers, and public recognition. Many people forget one life-changing truth. Human beings trust who you are before they trust what you have accomplished. Credentials may create attention, but character creates belief.
Energy creates connection.
Consistency creates confidence. Long before people examine your resume, they study your attitude. Long before they admire your success, they observe your behavior. Every interaction silently communicates whether you are dependable, emotionally stable, authentic, and trustworthy. The strongest opportunities in life are rarely created by paperwork alone. They are created by the emotional experience people have when they are around you. Research from Harvard Business School has repeatedly shown that trust is one of the most influential factors in leadership, collaboration, and long-term professional success. Teams perform better when trust exists because people naturally become more open, cooperative, and committed in emotionally safe environments. This means people are constantly evaluating more than intelligence or technical skill. They are evaluating emotional reliability. Can this person remain calm under pressure? Can they communicate honestly? Can they handle difficulty without creating chaos? Can they be counted on when things become uncertain? Those invisible qualities shape trust far more deeply than any achievement listed on paper. Energy plays a massive role in human connection because emotions are contagious. Studies in psychology have found that people unconsciously absorb emotional states from those around them. A negative attitude can lower motivation inside an entire room, while calm confidence can immediately create stability and focus. This is why some individuals naturally attract opportunities even without extraordinary qualifications. Their presence makes others feel capable, motivated, and secure. People move toward energy that feels grounded and emotionally safe because uncertainty already exists everywhere in life. A person who brings calmness into stressful situations becomes incredibly valuable. Character becomes even more important over time because eventually talent alone stops being enough. Many individuals rise quickly because of ability but collapse because of ego, dishonesty, arrogance, or emotional immaturity. Success can open a door temporarily, but only character keeps that door open long term. Employers, business partners, friends, and communities eventually begin asking deeper questions beyond performance. Does this person respect others? Do they stay honest during pressure? Do they keep promises even when inconvenient? Can they handle criticism without becoming defensive? Character is revealed most clearly when situations become difficult because pressure removes performance and exposes identity. Consistency is where trust truly becomes solidified. Anybody can appear motivated for one day. Anybody can sound confident during easy moments. But consistency separates temporary emotion from genuine discipline. People trust patterns, not promises. When someone repeatedly shows integrity, emotional control, reliability, and effort over long periods of time, confidence naturally grows around them. Studies in behavioral science show that repeated predictable behavior creates emotional safety in relationships. Human beings feel secure around consistency because it reduces uncertainty. This is why disciplined individuals often gain more respect than naturally talented people. Reliability creates confidence that emotions alone cannot sustain. Modern society often celebrates visibility more than substance. People are encouraged to market themselves constantly, yet many neglect the internal qualities that create lasting influence. But eventually, life exposes the difference between appearance and authenticity. During setbacks, personality echoes. Mess impossible to fake. Difficult moments reveal emotional discipline. Delays reveal patience. Criticism reveals humility. Failure reveals resilience. The people who continue gaining trust during hard seasons are not always the most gifted. They are usually the most grounded. Their consistency gives others certainty during unstable moments. Think about the individuals who leave the deepest impact on others. Rarely is it because they possess the most impressive credentials. More often, it is because they made people feel respected, valued, encouraged, and understood. Human beings remember emotional experiences more than accomplishments. A calm conversation during a painful season can influence someone more deeply than years of professional achievement. Genuine listening creates connection. Reliability creates loyalty. Integrity creates respect. These qualities cannot be purchased, copied, or temporarily performed forever. They must be built internally through discipline and self-worth. Ennis. Many people wait until they become successful before developing emotional maturity, but real leadership begins long before recognition arrives. The strongest individuals understand that every interaction becomes a reputation investment. The way you respond to stress, disappointment, conflict, and uncertainty slowly teaches people whether they can trust you. Energy influences atmosphere. Character influences respect. Consistency influences belief. Over time, those qualities become more powerful than credentials because people ultimately follow those who make them feel secure, inspired, and emotionally safe. Titles may impress people briefly, but trust is earned through repeated moments where your actions prove your values are real. Confidence is one of the most powerful forces a person can develop, but confidence alone is not enough. When confidence loses humility, it transforms into arrogance. Instead of inspiring people, it intimidates them. Instead of building connection, it eats distance. Many individuals believe strength means dominating every room, proving superiority, or constantly demanding attention. But the most influential people rarely need to announce their importance. Their confidence is grounded in purpose, not ego. They understand that true power does not come from making others feel small. It comes from making others feel capable, respected, and motivated to grow. Research in organizational psychology consistently shows that people are naturally drawn toward leaders who display both competence and humility. Confidence creates belief, but humility creates trust. When those qualities exist together, individuals become emotionally magnetic because people feel safe around them. Studies from the University of California found that humble leaders are often viewed as more effective because they encourage collaboration, emotional openness, and stronger team performance. Human beings resist arrogance because arrogance feels self-centered, but purpose-driven confidence feels stable, secure, and inspiring. It creates an environment where others feel seen rather than overshadowed. Many people misunderstand confidence completely. They assume it means speaking the loudest, controlling conversations or appearing emotionally untouchable. In reality, genuine confidence often appears calm. It listens carefully. It does not panic under criticism. It remains composed during uncertainty. A person who constantly seeks validation usually reveals insecurity beneath the surface. True confidence does not need constant applause because its foundation is internal. It comes from discipline, self-respect, emotional control, and clarity of purpose. Humility strengthens confidence because it keeps the individual grounded enough to continue learning instead of pretending to know everything. Purpose changes the entire direction of confidence. Without purpose, confidence often becomes self-promotion. With purpose, confidence becomes service. A person driven only by ego asks, "How can I look important?" A purpose-driven person asks, "How can I create value?" That difference changes how people respond emotionally. Human beings naturally support individuals who make others feel included, encouraged, and uplifted. Studies in social behavior repeatedly show that people prefer cooperative and emotionally intelligent individuals over purely dominant personalities. Respect is not built through intimidation. It is built through emotional consistency, authenticity, and the ability to inspire trust over time. History repeatedly proves that some of the most respected leaders combined certainty with humility. They possessed vision without becoming consumed by pride. They could make difficult decisions while still listening to others. Humility allowed them to remain adaptable instead of becoming blinded by ego. Arrogance often causes people to stop growing because they begin believing they are already complete. Humility keeps growth alive. It allows individuals to learn from failure, criticism, and experience. A confident person with humility understands that strength is not weakened by learning from others. Strength is expanded by it. Opportunities are deeply connected to emotional experience. People open doors for those they enjoy being around, trust emotionally, and believe will contribute positively to an environment. Technical skills matter, but emotional presence often determines who receives long-term opportunities. A person with confidence and humility communicates reliability. They appear secure enough not to compete for attention constantly. They celebrate others instead of feeling threatened by them. This emotional stability becomes incredibly attractive in workplaces, leadership roles, friendships, and partnerships, because stable people create stable environments. Modern culture often rewards performance over authenticity. Social media encourages people to appear superior instead of becoming grounded. Many individuals become addicted to visibility while neglecting emotional maturity. But eventually, arrogance exposes itself through impatience, defensiveness, and insecurity under pressure. Difficult moments reveal whether confidence was genuine or merely performance. Criticism becomes a powerful mirror. The arrogant collapse emotionally because their identity depends on appearing perfect. The humble remain steady because their identity is connected to growth, not image. The strongest people in life are usually not the loudest individuals in the room. They are the ones who remain composed when others become emotional. They are confident enough to lead, yet humble enough to listen. Their purpose creates direction greater than personal ego. Instead of demanding respect, they earn it naturally through consistency, emotional discipline, and integrity. People trust them because their confidence feels safe rather than threatening. They create momentum because others feel empowered around them instead of diminished. Every interaction silently reveals whether confidence is serving ego or purpose. Arrogance seeks admiration while humility seeks growth. One pushes people away through superiority. The other attracts opportunity through authenticity, trust, and emotional strength. Lasting influence is never built by making others feel less important. It is built by becoming strong enough internally that your confidence creates belief, encouragement, and possibility everywhere you go. Every conversation leaves an emotional fingerprint. Long after people forget the exact words you used, they remember how you made them feel. They remember whether your presence created encouragement or tension, respect or dismissal, inspiration or insecurity. Human beings are emotional before they are logical, and because of that, opportunities are deeply connected to emotional experience. A single interaction can build trust that lasts for years or destroy connection in minutes. This is why the way you treat people quietly shapes the direction of your future long before results become visible. Research in neuroscience and behavioral psychology shows that emotions strongly influence memory and decision-making. The brain naturally attaches emotional significance to experiences, meaning people often remember emotional impact more clearly than information itself. In workplaces, leadership environments, friendships, and business relationships, this principle becomes incredibly powerful. People may admire intelligence, but they stay loyal to individuals who make them feel respected, valued, safe, and understood. A person who consistently creates positive emotional experiences becomes unforgettable because emotional safety is rare in a world filled with stress, pressure, and self-interest. Many people focus entirely on talent, networking, or achievement while overlooking the emotional atmosphere they create around others. Youth atmosphere matters. The energy you bring into a room affects motivation, trust, and connection more than most realize. Studies on emotional contagion have shown that emotions spread socially, meaning one person's attitude can influence the emotional state of an entire group. Calmness can create stability. Encouragement can create confidence. Negativity can drain momentum instantly. This is why emotionally disciplined individuals often rise into leadership naturally. People trust those who help environments feel stronger, calmer, and more focused. Think about the people you genuinely enjoy being around. Usually it is not because they are perfect. It is because they make you feel heard, respected, appreciated, or inspired. Human beings crave significance. They want to feel understood without judgment. They want to feel valued instead of overlooked. A person who listens carefully, speaks respectfully, and responds with emotional awareness creates a level of trust that credentials alone can never produce. Many doors open simply because someone enjoys your presence and believes your energy improves environments instead of damaging them. On the other hand, people also remember emotional pain. Disrespect, arrogance, dishonesty, and emotional carelessness leave lasting marks. One moment of humiliation can permanently damage trust. One selfish decision can quietly close opportunities forever. This is why emotional intelligence matters so deeply. It is not weakness to control emotions, communicate carefully, or consider how actions affect others. It is strength. The ability to remain respectful under pressure separates emotionally mature individuals from reactive ones. During difficult moments, character becomes visible. Stress reveals patience. Conflict reveals emotional discipline. Criticism reveals humility. These moments determine whether relationships strengthen or quietly collapse. Leadership experts consistently emphasize that influence is built emotionally before it is built strategically. Employees do not give their best effort merely because of salary. Teams do not stay loyal because of rules alone. People commit deeply when they feel respected and emotionally connected to those leading them. The same principle exists in everyday life. Relationships survive hardship when emotional trust exists. Communities grow stronger when people feel valued. Businesses expand when customers feel genuinely cared for. Human connection is never purely transactional because emotions shape nearly every decision people make. Modern culture often pushes people towards self-promotion rather than genuine connection. Many become focused on appearing important instead of becoming emotionally valuable. But eventually people see through performance. Authenticity always outlasts image. A person who consistently makes others feel small may gain temporary attention but eventually loses trust. UST. Meanwhile, someone who creates encouragement, calmness, and belief often builds influence slowly but permanently. Respect earned through emotional consistency becomes stronger than attention gained through ego. There are individuals who walk into rooms and instantly make environments heavier. Complaining follows them. Negativity follows them. Defensiveness follows them. Over time, people instinctively avoid them because emotional exhaustion damages connection. Then there are people whose presence creates peace, motivation, and belief. They do not need to dominate conversations to influence others. Their attitude alone changes the emotional climate around them. Those individuals leave doors open because people naturally want them involved in opportunities, conversations, and future growth. Life is deeply relational. Every opportunity passes through people. Every relationship carries emotional memory. The words you choose, the respect you show, the patience you practice, and the emotional atmosphere you create silently determine how others respond to you over time. Success is not only about competence, it is also about emotional impact. The way you make people feel becomes part of your reputation long before achievements define your name. Some people lose opportunities because they forget this truth, while others continue finding open doors because their presence consistently leaves people feeling stronger, calmer, respected, and inspired to believe in something greater than themselves in a world where many people compete for attention. True influence remains rare because real influence is not built by speaking the loudest. It is built by understanding people deeply. Human beings do not naturally follow those who simply demand authority. They trust those who make them feel seen, heard, respected, and emotionally understood. Empathy, listening, and emotional connection create influence because they touch something deeper than logic alone. They create trust. They create loyalty. They create belief. Long after impressive words are forgotten, people remember the individuals who genuinely understood their struggles, fears, dreams, and emotions. Research in psychology and leadership studies consistently shows that emotional intelligence is one of the strongest predictors of long-term influence and leadership effectiveness. People with high emotional intelligence are better at communication, conflict resolution, relationship building, and creating trust within groups. This happens because human beings are emotional creatures before they are rational decision makers. People rarely commit deeply to someone who makes them feel invisible, but they naturally move toward individuals who create emotional safety and connection. Listening carefully, responding thoughtfully, and showing empathy create an emotional environment where trust can grow naturally. Empathy is the ability to understand another person's emotional experience without becoming consumed by judgment or ego. It allows individuals to connect beyond surface-level interaction. A person with empathy can recognize pain without dismissing it, frustration without escalating it, and fear without humiliating someone for it. Studies from neuroscience have shown that when people feel emotionally understood, the brain responds positively by lowering emotional defensiveness and increasing openness. This means empathy literally changes how people emotionally respond during conversations and relationships. Listening is another rare skill that has become incredibly powerful in modern culture because most people are waiting to speak instead of truly paying attention. Genuine listening communicates respect. It tells another person, "You matter enough for me to slow down and understand you." Many relationships fail not because people lack intelligence, but because they lack emotional presence. NCE. They hear words without hearing emotion. They react without understanding context. Real listeners create connection because they make others feel emotionally valued instead of emotionally ignored. The strongest leaders throughout history understood the importance of emotional connection. They knew people do not give loyalty simply because of position or status. Loyalty grows when people feel emotionally connected to a purpose and to the person leading it. Employees work harder when they feel appreciated. Communities unite when they feel understood. Families become stronger when communication creates emotional trust. Human beings crave significance, and emotional connection satisfies one of the deepest psychological needs. People carry the need to feel seen and valued. Modern society often rewards image more than connection. Social platforms encourage performance, comparison, and constant self-promotion. As a result, many individuals become emotionally disconnected while appearing. Socially connected. Conversations become shallow. Attention becomes divided. Authentic listening disappears. Yet despite all technological advancement, the human need for emotional connection has never changed. People still remember kindness. They still remember encouragement during difficult moments. They still remember those who listened when everyone else ignored them. Emotional connection remains one of the most valuable forms of influence because it creates lasting impact beyond temporary attention. Influence without empathy often becomes manipulation. Influence without listening becomes arrogance. Influence without emotional connection becomes control instead of leadership. People may temporarily obey authority, but they only deeply trust those who genuinely care about their experience. This is why emotionally intelligent individuals often create stronger long-term success than those relying only on intelligence or technical skill. They understand that relationships are built emotionally before they are built strategically. Pressure reveals the difference between performative leadership and genuine influence. During difficult seasons, emotionally disconnected leaders often create fear, confusion, and instability. But emotionally grounded individuals create calmness, trust, and clarity. They understand how to guide people without humiliating them. They know how to correct without destroying confidence. They know how to remain present during uncertainty instead of emotionally disappearing. This ability creates powerful loyalty because people remember who helped them feel strong during weak moments. Every interaction carries emotional weight. A simple conversation can inspire confidence or create insecurity. A few minutes of genuine listening can restore hope inside someone silently struggling. Encouragement can shift the direction of a person's entire life. Many individuals underestimate how deeply emotional experiences shape human behavior. The people who influence others most powerfully are rarely those obsessed with proving superiority. They are the ones who create emotional connection through sincerity, patience, compassion, and presence. Real influence is not measured by how many people fear you, admire you, or applaud you publicly. It is measured by how deeply people trust you, believe you, and feel emotionally safe around you. Empathy creates understanding. Listening creates trust. Emotional connection creates loyalty. Those qualities build influence that lasts far beyond temporary success because human beings never forget the people who made them feel understood, valued, and genuinely connected to something meaningful within themselves. Money has power. It can create visibility, attract crowds, and generate temporary admiration. It can buy luxury, influence, marketing, and status symbols that make people look successful from a distance. But attention and respect are not the same thing. Attention can be purchased for a moment, while loyalty must be earned over time. Many people confuse being noticed with being valued. They spend years chasing wealth, believing it will automatically create meaningful relationships, trust, and influence, only to discover that money may attract people to your position, but personality determines whether they stay connected to your presence. Research in psychology repeatedly shows that human relationships are built far more deeply on emotional trust, authenticity, and connection than financial status alone. Studies on long-term social bonds consistently reveal that qualities such as kindness, emotional stability, empathy, integrity, and consistency create stronger loyalty than material success. Human beings may admire wealth initially, but admiration without emotional connection rarely becomes trust. Eventually, people begin asking deeper questions. How does this person treat others when there is nothing to gain? Are they emotionally grounded during pressure? Do they make key people feel respected and understood? Character always becomes more important than appearance once temporary excitement disappears. History is filled with wealthy individuals who gained attention but never earned genuine respect, because respect cannot be purchased. Fear can be bought. Visibility can be bought. Temporary loyalty based on personal benefit can also be bought. But authentic trust is different. Real loyalty exists when people continue supporting someone even when there is no immediate reward involved. That type of connection is built through personality, emotional intelligence, and consistent character over time. People remain loyal to those who make them feel valued, inspired, safe, and emotionally connected. Personality shapes emotional experience, and emotional experience shapes human relationships. Think about the people who left the deepest impact on your life. Most likely, it was not because they had the most money. It was because they listened, encouraged, inspired. read, supported, or remained present during difficult moments. Human beings remember emotional impact more than financial display. A calm conversation during a painful season often becomes more meaningful than expensive gifts. Genuine encouragement during moments of self-doubt can influence someone more deeply than material generosity. Personality leaves emotional fingerprints that wealth alone can never create. Modern culture often glorifies financial success as the ultimate measurement of value. Social media especially encourages people to associate worth with luxury, appearance, and status. As a result, many individuals invest heavily in image while neglecting emotional growth. They become skilled at attracting attention but struggle to build an authentic connection. Yet attention without emotional trust becomes exhausting because it constantly depends on performance. Loyalty built through personality is different because it survives difficult seasons. It remains stable even when success fluctuates. Studies on leadership and workplace culture consistently show that employees stay loyal longer to leaders they trust emotionally than to leaders who only provide financial incentives. Salary matters, but respect and emotional connection strongly influence commitment, motivation, and morale. People naturally give more effort to individuals who create environments of appreciation, trust, and encouragement. The same principle applies in friendships, relationships, and communities. Human beings want to feel emotionally safe and valued. Personality determines whether others experience peace or tension in your presence. Money can impress people temporarily, but personality determines your reputation once conversations begin. Arrogance eventually pushes people away regardless of financial status. Emotional instability damages trust regardless of success. Disrespect destroys connection no matter how powerful someone appears publicly. Meanwhile, humility, consistency, empathy, and emotional discipline quietly build lasting influence. These qualities make people feel comfortable, respected, and inspired. Over time, those emotional experiences become stronger than material attraction because emotional memory shapes long-term loyalty. Pressure reveals this truth even more clearly. During difficult moments, wealth cannot replace character. Challenges expose emotional maturity. Stress reveals patience. Failure reveals humility. People begin recognizing who remains grounded when situations become uncomfortable. A person with strong personality traits creates stability during chaos. They bring calmness instead of panic, encouragement instead of negativity, and integrity instead of excuses. Those qualities build deep respect because emotionally grounded individuals become rare in uncertain environments. Many wealthy individuals still feel isolated because attention is not connection. Crowds are not loyalty. Applause is not trust. Genuine relationships require emotional investment, authenticity, and character. People stay connected to individuals who consistently make them feel heard, valued, appreciated, and inspired. Personality becomes the foundation of meaningful influence because it shapes how others emotionally experience life around you. In the end, money can attract eyes, but personality touches hearts. One creates temporary visibility while the other creates lasting impact. Wealth may open doors for a season, but character determines whether those doors remain open. Respect grows from integrity. Loyalty grows from emotional connection. Influence grows from authenticity. Long after financial success changes, people continue remembering those whose presence made them feel stronger, calmer, respected, and genuinely valued as human beings. Strong relationships are not built through perfection. They are built through truth. In a world where many people perform constantly to gain approval, authenticity has become one of the rarest and most powerful qualities a person can possess. Many individuals spend their lives trying to appear impressive, successful, confident, or emotionally untouchable because they believe performance will make them more lovable and accepted. But performance may attract temporary attention, while authenticity creates a real connection. Human beings do not build deep trust with masks. They build trust with honesty, vulnerability, emotional consistency, and genuine character. Research in psychology consistently shows that authentic relationships create greater emotional satisfaction, trust, and long-term stability. Studies on human connection reveal that people experience deeper emotional bonds when they feel accepted for who they truly are, rather than for an image they are forced to maintain. Performance creates pressure because it depends on constant maintenance. Authenticity creates freedom because it allows people to connect without fear of pretending. Many individuals become emotionally exhausted because they spend years performing versions of themselves designed to impress others instead of developing the courage to be real. Modern culture often rewards image over substance. Social media especially encourages comparison, perfection, and carefully controlled appearances. People learn how to edit their lives instead of understanding themselves. Smiles become performances. Confidence becomes performance. Success becomes performance. Even relationships sometimes become transactions built around validation rather than truth. But eventually, every performance becomes difficult to sustain because pressure reveals reality. Difficult seasons expose whether relationships were built on authenticity or illusion. When failure, pain, uncertainty, or weakness appear, shallow connections often disappear because they were connected to image instead of character. Authenticity creates emotional safety, and emotional safety is one of the strongest foundations of human connection. People naturally feel closer to individuals who are honest, grounded, and emotionally genuine. A person who can admit mistakes without collapsing emotionally demonstrates strength that performance can never replicate. Vulnerability often creates deeper trust than perfection because it reminds people they are not alone in their struggles. Research from relationship psychology shows that openness and emotional honesty significantly increase trust and long-term relationship stability. Human beings crave connection where they do not feel forced to constantly prove their worth. Performance-based relationships are fragile because they depend on maintaining an image. The moment the performance weakens, insecurity enters. A person pretending to always be strong eventually becomes terrified of appearing weak. Someone pretending to have everything together becomes emotionally trapped by fear of failure. Outgrow where honesty is absent. Authentic people create stronger relationships because they allow others to relax emotionally. Their honesty gives others permission to stop pretending too. Think about the people you trust most deeply in life. Usually they are not the most perfect individuals. They are the most genuine. They are consistent in private and public. Their words match their actions. They communicate honestly even during uncomfortable moments. They listen without judgment. They remain present during difficult seasons instead of disappearing when situations become inconvenient. Authenticity creates reliability because people know they are experiencing the real person rather than a carefully designed performance. Strong relationships also require emotional courage because authenticity demands vulnerability. It takes courage to express fear, uncertainty, disappointment, and truth without hiding behind ego. Many people avoid authenticity because they fear rejection, but ironic. Ally performance often creates the loneliness they were trying to escape. A relationship built on pretending can never fully satisfy because deep down the person knows they are loved for the mask rather than for themselves. Authenticity allows connection to become real because it removes emotional barriers between people. Leadership and influence work the same way. People may initially admire polished performances, but they remain loyal to authenticity. Employees trust leaders who communicate honestly during uncertainty. Friends remain loyal to those who stay genuine during success and failure. Communities become stronger when people feel emotionally understood rather than manipulated by appearances. Authenticity creates emotional credibility because people can sense sincerity. Human beings instinctively recognize when someone is trying too hard to impress versus when someone is genuinely grounded in who they are. Pressure reveals authenticity more clearly than comfort ever can. Hard seasons expose emotional truth. Stress reveals character. Failure reveals humility. Pain reveals emotional maturity. During those moments, authentic relationships become incredibly powerful because they are not dependent on image or convenience. They are built on trust strong enough to survive imperfection. At the deepest level, people are not searching for flawless human beings. They are searching for a real connection. They want relationships where honesty exists without fear, where vulnerability is met with understanding, and where presence matters more than performance. Authenticity creates that kind of connection because it replaces image with truth. Strong relationships are not sustained by pretending to be extraordinary. They are sustained by having the courage to be genuine, emotionally honest, and fully human in a world constantly encouraging people to hide behind performance. Leadership does not begin with a title, position, or authority. It begins with presence. Real leader. Our ship starts the moment your energy, attitude, and character begin giving other people courage to believe in themselves, in the mission, and in the possibility of moving forward despite uncertainty. Many people think leadership is about control, status, or being the most intelligent person in the room. But history repeatedly proves that the greatest leaders are remembered not because they demanded attention, but because their presence gave others strength during moments of fear, confusion, and doubt. Human beings naturally search for certainty during difficult times. Research in psychology and organizational behavior consistently shows that emotions spread through groups rapidly. Calmness creates stability. Confidence creates momentum. Fear creates panic. This means leaders influence environments long before they speak. The emotional atmosphere a person carries into a room affects how others think, feel, and respond under pressure. A grounded individual can completely shift the emotion. Now direction of a team, family, business, or community simply through emotional discipline and clarity. Presence becomes powerful because people are constantly observing whether someone brings panic or peace into uncertainty. Studies on effective leadership repeatedly show that trust and emotional intelligence are among the strongest predictors of long-term influence. People follow individuals who make them feel emotionally safe, respected, and inspired. Leadership is deeply connected to emotional experience because people rarely give their best effort to someone who only manages tasks. They commit deeply to people who create belief. A leader's presence can either drain confidence or awaken potential. The strongest leaders understand that human beings need more than instructions. They need encouragement, vision, and emotional stability during difficult moments. Courage is contagious. When one person remains composed during chaos, others begin believing survival and progress are possible. Evil. During moments of crisis, people instinctively look toward individuals who appear emotionally grounded. This is why leadership often emerges naturally in difficult seasons. Pressure exposes emotional maturity. While some collapse into negativity and fear, others create clarity and reassurance. Those individuals become anchors because their mindset helps others regain focus and confidence. Leadership is not about pretending fear does not exist. It is about refusing to allow fear to control the emotional direction of the environment. Belief is equally powerful because human potential expands when people feel capable. Many individuals carry hidden self-doubt, uncertainty, and fear of failure. One encouraging voice can completely shift someone's perspective about what they are able to achieve. Research in behavioral psychology has shown that expectations strongly influence performance. When people feel believed in, motivation and resilience increase significantly. Great leaders recognize this truth. They understand that speaking belief into others can unlock strength people did not know they possessed. A person who creates belief becomes unforgettable because they change how others see themselves. Modern culture often confuses leadership with visibility. Social media especially encourages performance, dominance, and self-promotion. But loudness and influence are not the same thing. Some of the most powerful leaders are not the most dramatic personalities. They are calm under pressure. They listen carefully. They communicate with clarity. They remain emotionally stable when others lose control. Their consistency creates trust because people know what emotional energy they will bring into difficult situations. Stability becomes leadership because uncertain environments desperately need grounded individuals. Presence matters because human beings respond emotionally before logically. People may forget exact words, but they remember how someone mad. Them feel during critical moments. A leader who creates calmness during fear becomes deeply respected. A leader who encourages growth instead of humiliating mistakes creates loyalty. A leader who remains hopeful during setbacks gives others permission to continue fighting through adversity. Emotional memory becomes attached to leadership because difficult moments magnify human behavior. Many individuals wait until they receive authority before acting like leaders, but leadership often begins long before recognition arrives. It begins in conversations. It begins in how someone responds to pressure. It begins in the ability to encourage others when nobody is watching. Real leaders create emotional strength in environments regardless of whether they hold formal power. They bring discipline instead of excuses. They bring solutions instead of panic. They bring belief instead of hopelessness. Every environment is shaped by emotional influence. Families are shaped by it. Teams are shaped by it. Businesses and communities are shaped by it. One person's emotional energy can either weaken or strengthen everyone around them. This is why leadership is ultimately less about control and more about responsibility. It is the responsibility to carry emotional stability, vision, and courage strongly enough that others begin believing progress is still possible even during difficult seasons. The most powerful leaders are remembered because their presence changed people internally. They helped others feel stronger, calmer, more capable, and more hopeful about the future. They reminded people of their potential when doubt became overwhelming. Leadership begins the moment your presence creates courage instead of fear and belief instead of limitation. That kind of influence cannot be forced through authority alone because true leadership is earned emotionally through character, consistency, and the ability to awaken strength inside the people around you. Uncertainty reveals the true saint. Strength of a person's character. When pressure increases, emotions intensify, and situations become unpredictable, most people instinctively search for stability. In those moments, a calm and disciplined personality becomes incredibly powerful because emotional control creates trust. Human beings naturally move toward individuals who remain grounded during chaos. They trust people who can think clearly under pressure, communicate without panic, and maintain consistency when circumstances become difficult. Calmness is not weakness. Discipline is not emotional suppression. Together, they create a presence that reassures others when fear and confusion threaten to take control. Research in psychology and neuroscience consistently shows that emotion spreads socially through groups and relationships. This phenomenon, often referred to as emotional contagion, explains why one anxious person can raise tension inside an entire environment, while one calm individual can restore focus and stability. Human beings unconsciously absorb emotional signals from the people around them. A leader, parent, friend, or coworker who reacts emotionally to every challenge often creates insecurity in others. But someone who remains composed during difficult situations sends a completely different message. Progress is still possible, solutions still exist, and panic is unnecessary. Discipline strengthens calmness because it creates internal stability. Many people misunderstand discipline as punishment or restriction, but real discipline is emotional training. It is the ability to control reactions instead of being controlled by them. Studies on self-regulation show that disciplined individuals handle stress more effectively because they rely less on temporary emotion and more on consistent behavior patterns. This is why disciplined people often appear calmer during adversity. Their mindset is not built on comfort. It is built on preparation, patience, and emotional control developed through repetition over time. Trust grows when people know what emotional energy they can expect from you. Predictability creates emotional safety. A person who remains respectful under pressure, focused during uncertainty, and emotionally balanced during setbacks becomes reliable in the eyes of others. Reliability is one of the strongest foundations of trust because human beings naturally feel safer around stability. In workplaces, families, friendships, and leadership environments, emotional consistency becomes more valuable during hard seasons than during easy ones. Anyone can appear calm when life is comfortable. True character appears when plans fail, pressure rises, and outcomes remain uncertain. History repeatedly proves that the most respected leaders are not always the loudest or most aggressive. Individuals. Often they are the calmest voices in the room during crisis. During moments of uncertainty, people instinctively look for emotional direction. Panic spreads quickly when nobody demonstrates control, but calmness creates clarity. A disciplined personality helps others regain perspective instead of collapsing emotionally. This influence becomes powerful because emotional stability gives people confidence that challenges can still be handled intelligently rather than emotionally. Modern culture often rewards impulsiveness, outrage, and emotional reaction. Constant stimulation trains many individuals to respond immediately instead of thoughtfully. As a result, calmness has become rare. Yet the rarest qualities often become the most valuable. A person capable of slowing down emotionally before reacting gains tremendous advantage in communication, relationships, leadership, and decision-making. Discipline allows someone to pause instead of exploding, think instead of panicking, and respond instead of reacting. Those habits build deep respect because emotionally grounded individuals create healthier environments around them. Calmness also protects judgment. Fear and stress narrow thinking, making people more impulsive and emotionally driven. Studies in behavioral science show that high emotional stress reduces problem-solving ability and increases reactive behavior. A disciplined mindset prevents temporary emotion from controlling permanent decisions. This is why emotionally disciplined individuals often perform better during difficult situations. They are not free from fear, but they refuse to let fear dominate their thinking. Their calmness creates space for wisdom, patience, and strategy. Trust is deeply emotional. People do not only trust intelligence or talent, they trust emotional reliability. They trust individuals who remain composed when situations become uncomfortable. They trust people who can handle disagreement without disrespect, setbacks without collapse, and uncertainty without creating chaos. A calm personality communicates security because others feel emotionally safer in that presence. Over time, this emotional safety strengthens relationships, teams, and communities because people know stability exists even during difficult moments. Discipline also builds internal confidence. Every time someone controls emotional impulses, keeps commitments, or responds wisely under pressure, self-respect increases. That internal confidence becomes visible externally. Calm individuals are often trusted because they do not appear desperate for validation or approval. Their stability comes from within rather than from changing circumstances. They become anchors in uncertain environments because their identity is not easily shaken by temporary chaos. Life will always contain uncertainty. Challenges, delays, setbacks, and unexpected difficulties are unavoidable, the parts of growth. But during those moments, personality becomes more important than appearance or status. A calm, disciplined individual creates reassurance where others create fear. They create focus where others create confusion. They create stability where others lose emotional control. Trust grows naturally around people whose presence consistently brings clarity, emotional balance, and strength into uncertain situations because human beings never forget those who helped them feel secure when life felt unstable and unpredictable in a world where everyone is trying to be noticed. The people who leave the deepest impact are often the ones who never needed to demand attention in the first place. The loudest voices may dominate a moment, but genuine people shape memories that last for years. Human beings are naturally drawn toward authenticity because authenticity creates trust, comfort, and emotional connection. Many people spend their lives trying to appear impressive, powerful, important, believing visibility automatically creates influence. But true influence is rarely built through noise. It is built through sincerity, emotional honesty, and the quiet confidence of someone who is completely comfortable being real. Research in psychology consistently shows that authenticity strengthens human connection more than performance or image. Studies on interpersonal relationships reveal that people feel emotionally safer around individuals who communicate honestly and behave consistently. Human beings instinctively recognize when someone is pretending. Performance may attract attention temporarily, but eventually emotional exhaustion appears because maintaining an image requires constant effort. Genuine people feel different because their words, behavior, and character align naturally. There is no confusion about who they are because they are not constantly changing themselves to impress others. Modern culture often rewards loudness more than depth. Social media specifically encourages people to compete for visibility, validation, and recognition. Many individuals begin confusing attention with significance. They believe louder opinions, bigger personalities, and constant self-promotion automatically create respect. But attention is temporary. Emotional impact is lasting. The people remembered most deeply are usually those who made others feel understood, respected, encouraged, and emotionally safe. Presence creates memory more powerfully than performance ever can. Think about the individuals you will never forget in your life. Most likely, they were not the loudest people you encountered. They may not have dominated every conversation or constantly demanded recognition. Instead, they listened carefully. They treated people with kindness. They remained authentic regardless of circumstances. They made others feel valued without needing applause in return. Genuine people create emotional experiences that stay with others long after the interaction ends because sincerity touches something deeper than surface-level admiration. There is strength in authenticity because it requires courage. Many people hide behind performance because they fear rejection. They believe pretending to be stronger, smarter, or more successful will protect them from judgment. But authenticity removes the mask. It allows someone to be emotionally honest without needing constant validation. Research on emotional well-being shows that authentic individuals often experience healthier relationships and stronger internal confidence because they are not living divided between their real identity and the image they project publicly. Genuine people conserve emotional energy because they are not constantly performing for approval. Loudness often comes from insecurity rather than confidence. People who constantly seek attention may actually be searching for reassurance above. You their worth. Genuine confidence behaves differently. It remains calm. It does not need to dominate every room. It does not feel threatened by silence or by the success of others. Genuine people understand that value does not increase through performance. Their security comes from character rather than external recognition. This emotional stability creates a quiet strength that naturally attracts trust and respect. In leadership, friendships, relationships, and communities, authenticity creates loyalty because people feel emotionally safe around real individuals. Employees trust leaders who communicate honestly during uncertainty. Friends remain loyal to those who stay consistent in both success and hardship. Families become stronger when vulnerability replaces performance. Genuine people create environments where others feel permission to stop pretending too. Their honesty becomes contagious because authenticity inspires deeper connection. Pressure reveals this truth clearly. Difficult moments, loud personalities often collapse emotionally because their confidence was built on image rather than substance. Genuine individuals remain grounded because they are not trying to protect a performance. Stress reveals patience. Failure reveals humility. Uncertainty reveals emotional maturity. Authentic people become unforgettable during hardship because their character remains steady when circumstances become unstable. People remember those who stayed kind under pressure, calm during chaos, and sincere when pretending would have been easier. Human beings crave real connection more than perfection. They want relationships where honesty exists without fear, where emotions can be expressed without shame, and where presence feels genuine rather than calculated. The loudest individuals may capture attention quickly, but genuine people capture hearts slowly and permanently. Their influence grows through consistency, integrity, empathy, and emotional truth instead of performance. At the end of life, people rarely remember who talked the most. They remember who cared the most. They remember who listened when nobody else did. They remember who remained authentic in a world full of masks. They remember who made them feel accepted, encouraged, and emotionally understood. The most unforgettable people are not those obsessed with being seen everywhere. They are the individuals whose sincerity leaves emotional fingerprints on every life they touch, because genuine character creates impact that noise never will. Long before success introduces your name to the world, your character is already speaking on your behalf. Every conversation, every decision, every reaction under pressure quietly builds a reputation that people remember long before achievements become visible. Many individuals spend years chasing recognition, believing accomplishments alone will define their future. Yet human beings often form opinions based on something much deeper than success. They study consistency. They observe integrity. They watch how someone treats people when there is nothing to gain. Character becomes reputation because behavior always communicates identity before results ever do. Research in psychology and social behavior consistently shows that trust is built through repeated patterns of conduct rather than isolated moments of performance. Human beings naturally look for emotional reliability. They pay attention to honesty, discipline, humility, and emotional control because these qualities predict whether someone can truly be trusted. A person may not yet have status, wealth, or recognition, but people still form strong impressions based on how that individual behaves during ordinary moments. Character creates emotional memory. Others remember whether someone was respectful, dependable, and genuine long before they remember titles or accomplishments. Many people underestimate how much reputation is built privately before it is recognized publicly. The way you respond to setbacks, criticism, delays, and disappointment silently shapes how others perceive you. Difficult seasons often reveal more about a person than successful seasons ever can. Pressure removes performance and exposes identity. Stress reveals patience. Failure reveals humility. Conflict reveals emotional maturity. These moments become powerful because they show who someone truly is when circumstances stop being comfortable. Anyone can appear impressive when life is easy. Character becomes visible when life becomes difficult. Studies on leadership and organizational trust repeatedly show that integrity is one of the strongest predictors of long-term influence and credibility. People naturally move toward individuals whose actions consistently align with their values. Consistency creates emotional safety because human beings trust predictability. A person who behaves with honesty in small situations becomes respected even before achieving visible success because of her sense of emotional reliability. Reputation grows slowly through repeated evidence of character, not through one dramatic achievement. Modern culture often teaches people to focus heavily on image management. Social media especially encourages individuals to create polished versions of themselves designed for attention and validation. Many become obsessed with appearing successful rather than becoming trustworthy. But image eventually collapses when character is weak because time exposes inconsistency. Or appearance, but long-term respect depends on deeper qualities. Arrogance eventually reveals itself. Dishonesty eventually creates distrust. Emotional instability eventually damages relationships. Character always catches up with reputation because actions eventually become impossible to hide. Think about the people you admire most deeply. Usually, admiration extends beyond achievement alone. It comes from how those end. Individuals carry themselves through pressure, adversity, and responsibility. Human beings respect those who remain disciplined during temptation, respectful during conflict, and humble during success. Character becomes powerful because it influences every environment someone enters. A trustworthy person creates calmness and stability. An emotionally grounded person creates safety. An authentic person creates connection. These qualities shape how people speak about someone even when that individual is not present. Reputation is built in ordinary moments most people ignore. It is built in whether promises are kept when inconvenient. It is built in whether someone shows respect to people who cannot offer anything in return. It is built in how a person responds after making mistakes. Studies in behavioral science show that repeated small behaviors create stronger trust than occasional dramatic actions. This means everyday integrity matters more than temporary displays of excellence. Character is not proven through speeches, it is revealed through patterns. There are many talented individuals who damage their future because their character cannot support their ability. Success may temporarily hide weaknesses, but eventually character determines whether influence survives. A person without integrity may rise quickly but struggle to maintain trust. Meanwhile, someone with strong character often gains opportunities slowly yet builds influence that lasts much longer because people feel emotionally secure around them. Trust becomes reputation, and reputation opens doors that talent alone often cannot sustain. Leadership especially depends on character because people follow emotional credibility more than authority alone. Employees trust leaders who stay honest during uncertainty. Friends trust people who remain loyal during difficult seasons. Communities trust individuals whose behavior stays consistent regardless of circumstances. Character creates confidence. Others know what values guide a person's decisions. This stability becomes rare and valuable in a world filled with inconsistency and performance. Achievements eventually become visible, but by the time success arrives, people have often already decided who they believe you are. Long before awards, recognition, or public success appear, your daily behavior is building your reputation quietly in the minds of others. Every interaction either strengthens trust or weakens it. Every decision either reinforces integrity or damages credibility. Character shapes emotional memory because people never forget how someone consistently behaved over time. In the end, accomplishments may attract attention, but character determines respect. Success may introduce your abilities, but reputation introduces your identity. Long before the world sees what you achieved, people experience who you are. That is why character matters so deeply, because eventually your reputation becomes the echo of your daily choices, your emotional discipline, your integrity, and the way you treated others when nobody was watching and nothing forced you to do the right thing.